anxious to talk with you. Good evening. My name is Marianne Louise Derwin, and I'm currently serving as the mayor of Portola Valley. And after the incident on Sunday night, the home invasion with the 3 armed men, I talked with the Vice Mayor, Craig Hughes, who is right here, and the town manager, who is in the back. He's usually roaming around. And law enforcement, and we decided to do a community evening so that you could ask questions, your fears could be allayed, and law enforcement could give you some pointers on how to make your home safe. So we are so fortunate tonight to have the sheriff, the county sheriff, Greg Munks, here with his team, and I'm going to ask Greg to come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne, and Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Manager. Thank you for inviting us here tonight. And as you may or may not know, I actually live here in Portola Valley, so I couldn't hold the excuse that I was busy. Someone might see me out walking the dog. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be out here under unfortunate circumstances. And we brought some of our staff along. We brought the investigating detectives that are working on this case. Brought along Lieutenant Mark Kuykendall, who manages our contract here in Portola Valley. Mark is essentially your police chief. He handles and manages the men and women that are out here on a daily basis protecting the community. Scott Kirkpatrick is the Detective Bureau Commander, so he oversees all of our investigative resources and supervises and manages the folks that are working on this case. I can leave the details and the update for them. They're actually working it. They know. What I wanted to just impart to you is the fact that we're all blessed to live in this community. It's a very safe community. It continues to be a very safe community. We have an excellent relationship with the town leadership, the council, and the city manager. We work very closely together to address issues as they come up. In this particular case, though, reminds us all that we're not immune from some of the very unfortunate things that occur around our state and around the country. But we believe that what occurred doesn't change the overall safety outlook here in Portola Valley. We still believe it's a very safe community. I think when you hear from our folks about this particular case, you'll see that it's not we don't believe it's a sign of things to come or of some sort of degrading of the safety that we all enjoy. So I'm going to ask Mark Kuykendall, Lieutenant Mark Kuykendall, to come up. He'll introduce some of our staff that are here and kind of go over what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to be available once we're done. All of us will be here and available for your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to address whatever concerns you have tonight. So, Mark, you want to come up?
Good evening. I'd like to echo what the sheriff said. This is a safe community. It has been and it will continue to be a safe community. And a lot of that can be attributed to the men and women that work for our sheriff's office. They are proactive. The deputies that are signed out here work hard. They're visible, and they make a lot of proactive stops during each shift to ensure your safety. And that's the key for me. Being your representative, it is ensuring your safety. As I said, I oversee the contract for this town, and I've been working hand in hand with Mr. Dennis, and our relationship is one of communication and collaboration, and I'd like to recognize him for his work that he's been doing. As far as the events that occurred Sunday night, we do believe that this is an isolated incident. The detectives that are here tonight are going to discuss that with you. First off, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Scott Patrick. He's our detective lieutenant. And the detectives assigned to the case are Jonathan Sebring and Nick Baragno. And we're going to give you a quick update regarding the events and bring you up to speed.
Good evening, everybody. Like Lieutenant said, my name is John Sebring. I'm one of the detectives assigned to this case, as well as I'm also assigned to Portola Valley, Woodside, and some of our unincorporated Redwood City areas as a detective. This is my partner, Nick Baragno. Let him introduce himself.
Nick Baragno. I'm currently assigned to the unincorporated Redwood City area, but I'm also helping out on this case here with John.
So, like Lieutenant said, we do believe this was an isolated incident. This belief is based on facts that we have uncovered during the investigation. It's based on statements taken from the victims of the case, as well as some behaviors that were observed by the suspects involved in this case. I hope you all understand I cannot disclose really any details about the case at this time. This for two reasons. One is the integrity of the investigation, and secondly is to the privacy of the victims. They obviously have rights in this matter as well. And at this time, they have expressed that they want to remain private about the matter, so we definitely respect that at the Sheriff's Office. What I can tell you is we have developed leads so far with the home invasion that occurred. We are following up on those leads. We have been nonstop since it occurred. The San Mateo County Crime Lab did respond to the scene, and they collected evidence from inside the house. And we, again, I can't emphasize enough, we do believe that the particular residence was targeted by these suspects for a particular reason. I cannot go into details on that, obviously, as I explained earlier. And I wanted to let you know, too, that the victims, although they did go through a horrible, tragic incident, there was no injuries involved in this, and everybody is safe at this point. So, with that.
I wanted to come with my detectives and assure you that the Sheriff's Office is giving the full attention of the Detective Bureau in this case. One of the things the Sheriff asked me to talk about is one of the ways that we communicate neighborhood-wise, and we have a system that the Sheriff's Office, or this county has. It's called SMC Alert. The gentleman in the back there in the white shirt, he's our SMC Alert expert. I'd encourage you all to, yeah, that one. I would encourage you all to inquire. What it is a system of email system, or it's like a Nextdoor. Is anyone familiar with the Nextdoor app on your phone? The whole community would be involved in it. Hopefully, that's the goal. And we are able to send messages out to the community as a group and notify everybody when things like this happen, things like road closures happen, things that affect the whole community. And we understand that the nature of this crime has an effect on the community, especially a community that doesn't expect this kind of thing to happen, and we understand that. And just giving you my assurance that we're working hard to bring this to a conclusion.
I have a quick question. Why wasn't this put out on the SMC Alert on Sunday night?
I don't know what the information was that was given to.
There was nothing on Sunday night.
I would have to look into that. I don't know. It's an excellent question.
How many are on patrol on any given day or night or whatever?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Sure. He asked how many. The first question was why wasn't this put out on this SMC Alert? And I said I would have to look into that. I don't know why. And the second question, my partner here is going to answer is how many people are on patrol at any given time?
I don't think the mic is on.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to hear you guys.
Hello? I should go. I could go rogue, right? All right. Did you hear any of the stuff I said? The first question was, I was speaking about the SMC alert system that the county offers. It's another communication avenue. We encourage people to sign up for it. It's a way for us to notify a whole community of something. My first question was, why wasn't this put out on SMC Alert? I don't have an answer for that. I can find out. I'll look and see why that fell through. This is the type of thing that would go out on that system. I mentioned earlier that it would also be things like road closures or accidents or things that our community, that have an effect on the community. I can say, I don't want to guess, but I can say that there is lag time on an incident till we know exactly what's happening. We can't just blast out that there's home invasion. We'd like to know a little bit more about it before we put it out. But that being said, something should have gone out. And,
It hasn't gone out yet.
okay.
It was in the paper, it was in the almanac, and it was on the PD forum, but it was not on SMC alert. I
It
did
came
text
from
or
the,
email
sorry, also town staff sent it out as well.
Okay.
If you subscribe to those.
All right. And the next question that's about to be answered by my partner here is how many law enforcement officers are on patrol at any given time? Is that correct?
Yes.
The Headquarters Patrol Bureau services Woodside and Portola Valley. There are 2 deputies assigned through Woodside and Portola Valley at all times, 24/7. In the surrounding areas, including those 2, there's a total of 7 deputies assigned to this bureau that can respond to calls. But there are 2 dedicated deputies to Woodside and Portola Valley at all times.
Who are they?
There's Eric Sakuma, who's here tonight, Kevin Fung, and Jeff Seymour, Suzanne Maddox. Those are the
Question? Are they patrolling or are they sitting in an office somewhere most of the time?
most of the time they are on patrol. Sometimes they are in the office to write reports, but we and I require them to be proactive. And the deputies that are selected for this beat are proactive deputies that understand the community, that understand being visible is important. And I think you see that in their work and their product here. Yes, sir.
Could you comment on how effective you think any private security firms are in preventing this type of occurrence?
I think any sort of extra
Wait,
security.
Would you repeat the question?
Could you
Sorry.
repeat?
You repeat it for me.
I asked for any comment on how valuable private security agencies would be in preventing this type of occurrence.
Thank you. I think any sort of prevention helps. Private security obviously is another set of eyes and ears and a radio that can radio or call in an issue, and it's also a huge deterrent. But a lot of people don't have access to private security. But one of the things that you can do to prevent this type of thing is always lock your doors and windows, garages, keeping them locked. Make sure your home entrances are well lighted. Minimize bushes where people can hide and ambush you when you're coming home from work. When you have your door locked, don't just open it when somebody comes in, whether it be a solicitor or somebody that looks like somebody that's delivering something. Use the people, communicate through the door that's locked. Don't just open the door and let somebody in. And once that happens, if somebody does enter your home or you come upon somebody, make noise, scream, act like there's somebody there inside the house with you that you're talking to, that you're yelling to discourage them. Because once they get inside, very similar to Sunday night, they get inside, take you somewhere that you don't want to go, take your property or worse. So those are just some tips for a home invasion type of robbery. Yes, sir.
What about a watchdog?
I'd answer that the same way. I mean, anything that would prevent a watchdog. Anything that would discourage somebody from coming on your property or coming in is always a help. I would think that would be a help for burglary, to prevent burglary or trespassing or theft of any kind. Home invasion, people are normally targeted for some reason, for the work they do, the lifestyle they lead. People know their comings and goings, and they know the house they're coming to. And I spoke with somebody outside about this before the meeting, and it isn't normal for a home invasion to occur randomly. People are selected for certain criteria. Yes, sir.
Did this particular home have video, internal, external? Did they have a security system? Were their houses wired? Did they have a, what do you call it, a panic button off? Or did they have...
The question is, did they have a security video system?
Or panic buttons,
Panic
or
button.
any of the other kind of systems that they talk
And I'll let Detective Seabury answer.
Thank you, Lieutenant. In this particular case, there was outdoor video surveillance that was recovered. Keep in mind, with video surveillance, though, it is great. I would recommend everybody out here have it. But when you're talking about nighttime and it's not a well-lit area out here, you get the video feed in night vision. And that doesn't always provide the best situation on that.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I have a question. I was really impressed with the police department. Last year, our home was burglarized. I was out on a walk in the middle of the day, 45 minutes, and I don't take a walk at the same time, and I don't take it every day. But someone came in and I came back, and we do have a dog. We had no alarm system at the time. Somebody came and all the windows, doors were locked. They broke the sliding glass door, and they came in and ransacked the house. These were there in like 2 minutes. And my question was, at this time, do you know anything about that burglary or how it compares, or have you found anything out about the likely perpetrators of that burglary?
I don't have any specific information on your burglary at this time.
It was on Golden Oak.
On Golden Oak.
Yeah.
If you'll stay after the meeting, I'll
Sure.
give you my card and we can discuss your specific crime.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to answer, did the people who were victimized know any of the people who came into their homes?
As his boss, did the people that were victimized know any of the people? We just don't want to answer that right now. We don't want to let anyone know that we may be looking or not looking at them.
Yes, sir.
Yes, as a follow-up to the previous question, it says here in this yellow flyer that burglaries, in the past few months, burglaries have been on the rise in Portola Valley. Can you give some idea of how many burglaries? And is it just localized in Portola Valley, or is it more general in the Portola Valley, Woodside, Los Altos area?
I don't think I produced the flyer. Yeah, it's an out-of-date flyer. Actually,
The burglary we had last year, we had a spike.
yeah, we had a. This is Sal Zuno. He's our press information officer.
Good evening. My name is Salvador Zuno. I'm the Sheriff's Public Information Officer. I am the person in charge of getting information out to the media and to the public when it's in regards to safety or significant events. In regards to your question, sir, the question was, are burglaries rising in Portola Valley? And the answer is no. Burglaries, unfortunately, are rising everywhere. Burglaries are not a Portola Valley issue. They're affecting San Mateo County, they're affecting California, it's a national issue. So we have taken many steps to counter this. There are a lot of extra patrols that we're doing. We have a lot of, you may not always see, but we have unmarked officers, unmarked vehicles that are driving through your neighborhoods checking. We have a lot of things that we're doing, and we don't want to tell the suspects all the details that they're doing because we don't want them to counter what we do to get information. Okay. Yes?
What do they tend to be after?
So like the lieutenant said,
Can you repeat the question?
so the question is, what do these suspects tend to be after? And the answer is anything of value, plain and simple, anything of value. Their job is to get in and get out without being seen or being caught. That's their primary objective. That's why, like the lieutenant stated, when homes, or when it's a home invasion, is because they're specifically targeted. Because they know what they know the home, they know the background, they know the people who live there, so they have a specific idea as to what they're after. Even in most home invasions, once they get the valuables that they're after, they leave. It's very rare that when a homeowner encounters a burglar, that there'll be any interaction. Once the burglar, in our experience, that the detectives can confirm, once a burglar is confronted by a resident, they'll flee right away because, like I said, their job are to get valuables and to not be identified and not be caught.
Thank you, Saul. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned, anything of value, but if they're coming in and out
quickly, I assume that they're mostly getting small things like jewelry and cash. I mean, are they taking paintings or sculptures or computers or what kinds of
Anything
things?
about it. Anything about it.
Most burglaries that we're seeing that are trending throughout the region are jewelry, cash, things that they can take, and laptops.
And
Also.
laptops?
Yes.
Phones,
Phone,
iPads.
iPads.
I know you probably can't answer this directly regarding a specific burglary, but would you say that the majority of these burglaries are being committed by people who have been in the house before, either working on the house or employed as a cleaner or a gardener or anything like that? Can you just say generally speaking? Would this
I
be the
think
case?
particularly in this area, that is always a possibility, as far as when we're looking at suspects. Some cases have been that, but other times it's people coming from out of the area that are looking to capitalize and gain anything of value. Yes, sir.
This seems to be different when you hear about burglaries, but not when each of the three have a pistol. Isn't that unusual?
Yes, and it's not a burglary at all. It's a home invasion robbery,
Right.
which is...
So my question is, I don't have a gun, but if I did have a gun, and they came in with pistols, and I shot them, am I guilty?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There has to be a threat to you or someone else of imminent great bodily injury or death for you to take action like that.
Well, I wouldn't, but they've got pistols.
Yeah, is breaking in the action?
An imminent threat of great bodily injury or death to you or nothing is when you can use deadly force. And it's the same for a citizen, it's the same for a police officer or deputy sheriff.
Well, I'm just going to say that, if you've got three guys with guns in your house, we would not recommend, taking them on in a gunfight. But, as Mark said, people have a legal right to defend themselves if they are in fear of their life. But it is, it's a tough call. What we recommend is comply with what the people are telling you to do.
Is it unusual to have guns? Is that
Oh, it's very unusual, very rare, just, anywhere in our jurisdiction, not just here. But in that type of a situation, our advice is just, go along with it. Yeah, you don't want to.
You in the back.
No, thank you. You said there are criteria that these people use for home invasion robberies, but you were vague about it. Can you tell us what the criteria are that these people use when they decide to do home invasion robberies? That way we'll have a better understanding of maybe what happened in this instance.
People are selected for, I would say, for a variety of reasons, and I can't get specific because every robbery is different. Mostly it's valuables, whether it be cash or jewelry.
No, you said that's for any burglary. My question is, for home invasion robberies, you said that don't have to worry about it, we don't have to worry about it, something specific happened in this case. Meaning there are certain criteria, as you said, that may occur to allow this. The question is, what kind of criteria exist to now make a home invasion robbery versus a straight burglary?
The criteria are basically the same. They're looking for cash or valuables or jewelry.
Well, why would they select a given place? You said there were criteria for that.
I can't get in the mind of every burglar or every robber, but a robber that's looking for like any sort of home invasion sort of situation, what we're saying is the difference is they're usually selected for something that they're doing, whether there be a jewelry salesman. For one example, a lot of robberies occur that are jewelry salesmen, and they get robbed because people know that they sell jewels. They follow them and they rob them. A home invasion is similar to that. If somebody knows something about what you do, your business, how much valuables you have, if you have a safe in the house that has a lot of valuable money or jewelry in it, you could be the target of that. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I'm wondering, because you said, and maybe this is the difference between home invasion, but and I know you can't really say, but I want you And I might just wear you down if you don't.
I'm ready.
What I'm wondering were they shocked that the people were home and they just went ahead with it anyway? Or did they not think that people were going to be home? I mean, can you answer that for us? We can all move out.
What I would say is, so residential burglaries typically happen at a certain time, in my experience. It's going to be between, say 9 a.m. and 3 or 4 p.m. when the majority of people are at work. That's when they will go and target a house. And they select houses for a variety of reasons, like Lieutenant spoke about earlier. There could be shrubbery out, or for instance, they knock on the door. We get these a lot. They knock on the door, and if no one answers, they'll go to the rear. I'm sure a lot of people here have those side gates. Those should always be locked. That's how majority of the burglaries are happening. They go to the side, knock on the front door, no one answers, go to the side, scope out the house. If no one's there, they're making entry into the rear, going in. Typically, they want something quick, so it's cash, gold jewelry, etc. What makes this, different is, again, it's a home invasion robbery. These were 3 armed men with semi-automatic pistols. Okay, they went into the house, and I'm sorry, when I say semi-automatic, they were just carrying pistols. It's just a big term. I probably threw out too many words. Yeah, they had handguns, just handguns. Okay, we're not talking about any high-power rifles or anything like that. They had handguns, and they went in at nighttime. At nighttime, you expect people to be home. Okay, and so again, that's why, amongst other reasons, we think that they were specifically targeting this household.
Sure.
Can you say anything about the level of threats or physical aggression that was used in this case? And can you talk about how the situation ended? How did these guys leave? Why?
What I'll say, again, I'm going to respect the victim's privacy on this. They're not here tonight, and they have asked me to respect their privacy, and the investigation is still very much underway and ongoing. What I will tell you is these 3 suspects went in with a purpose. They accomplished their purpose. The victims in this case, they did everything correctly, in my opinion. They complied, like the sheriff mentioned. And because of the way they acted, and which was appropriately, no one got hurt. The situation could have escalated badly, you can imagine, if it went any further. But they did everything correctly, and the suspects fled the scene without injuring anybody.
Yeah.
2-part question. Do the placards the alarm company send out, do those make any difference at all if you have them posted outside your house? And is there more or less of a target if you have a long, more isolated driveway, or you're right on the street? Our neighbors were right on the street, visible, and they were targeted, whereas some of us have longer driveways. We don't know if that makes us more or less likely to be hit.
I think with a burglary, it would make a difference. Burglars like to be clandestine about their operations, not be seen. But as far as this goes, I think we've made it clear that we think it's a specific target.
Right, but in general, is a more isolated property more desirable for a bad guy or less desirable?
Sure.
Hey, just real quick. So a good way to think about what is a better target, what isn't. You want to be a less you want to be not the easy target. So whoever these burglars or robbers might be are driving around and they're looking for easy targets. They're looking for places they can sneak up on and not be seen from the road by a passing patrol officer or something like that. A place that they don't see any cameras. The hedges and shrubbery are well overgrown, so they have other places to hide once they get close to the house. So a great way to just think about it is don't be the easy target on your block, okay? Do the things, there's 100 different tips, like, we've already talked about, but if you have the motion lighting on the side of your house, they're not going to test it. If they think somebody's home, typically, if they're a burglar, they're going to go to the next house. They're not going to risk being discovered and going to jail. So there's a myriad of different things you can do and should do that I've done. Dogs are great, alarm systems are great, alarm signs are great. In the mind of these, I think I put myself in the mind of a criminal and I say, am I going to go to the house with the alarm sign, or am I going to go to the one that doesn't have an alarm sign? I mean, that's just kind of how, it helps me think of how I keep my own home secure.
Add some to that. Just by coincidence, Father's Day, my son gave me a plastic camera, a fake camera that he got through Amazon. And this thing looks exactly like a closed circuit. It's plastic, it probably cost, $5 or $10. And I put it up on the corner of the garage and it had a little red light that beeps. And it was very inconspicuous, but it definitely, anybody driving up our driveway would see this thing and immediately think that we had a closed circuit camera, which we didn't. So as Scott said, anything that you do, dog, cut the bushes back, those signs are good. Put the sign up clearly stating that you have an alarm if you have an alarm. If not, you can probably get the alarm sign on Amazon as well. But as Scott said, anything that they see that makes them go to the next house is really a good thing.
Next neighborhood.
Yeah, the next city, even better.
Yeah, and just to follow up on what Scott said about tips, we have a publication in the back. Please feel free to grab one on your way out that describes a lot of safety measures, how to make your house safer, how to keep yourself safe, and how to report crimes. So please, on your way out, please grab one of those. Thank you. Sir?
Question probably for the sheriff. Would the license plate reader be an advantage or disadvantage for this particular case?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Question was, license plate reader be an advantage or disadvantage in this particular case? It would clearly be an advantage in this case because we would have had the license plate of that vehicle 10 minutes after the offense. License plate readers are somewhat controversial community to community. It's a community decision. We happen to think that they're a good law enforcement tool, but it's something that the communities have to decide on a case-by-case basis if it's...
Can we take a vote right now?
I think that would be a Brown Act violation.
Greg, on that point, is it right to say that we had votes about a few years ago on this particular license plate reader? I think it was voted down.
Mark, I think you were dealing with that.
So we have looked at the issue of license plate readers in town last year fairly extensively. We had a number of public meetings about it that were pretty well attended. We had a couple discussions at council, at least one, I think, or like 2 or 3. Yeah. The issue actually came about because I think a patrol car that, or you'd set up a, I think it came about because there was one of those speed cameras set up, and it actually came about because it was partially blocking the bike lanes, so someone complained about it. But then it turned out there was a license plate reader on that trailer. So we didn't have a policy in town about